Nicola Sturgeon's always going to be banging this drum, isn't she? That's what her party is there for. But does she have a point that this once-in-a-generation vote could arguably be called again, because the situation's changed? They were taken out of the European Union.
So it's twice in a generation,
but since then, they've left the EU. The Scottish people, we know, didn't want to do that. They have a right to have another say on this? That would be her argument.
No, I think this reeks of opportunism from Nicola Sturgeon. She wants to go now because she wants to be going up against a weakened Boris Johnson. She wants to be doing it at a time when we're in a cost of living crisis, so the economic arguments don't seem to loom so large. People might think, well, it can't be any worse than it is now. I don't think she's got a mandate for this. She didn't secure a majority in the Holyrood elections. And, as I say, completely opportunistic.
Timing, OK, so you're saying the timing is all important with this one. My experience of this is the younger you are, the more likely you are to vote for Scottish independence. Does that not augur well for her?
Yeah, I think Nicola Sturgeon has done a good job of kind of branding independence as a sort of like woke, progressive position. But in fact, it's the opposite of that. Putting up borders where they don't exist is regressive. Nationalism is essentially a regressive idea. And I think if people, especially young people, think hard about this, they should realise that. And they should be looking at her domestic agenda on things that really affect young people, like education. And they should think really hard about how they vote if such a referendum does occur.
What would happen to Scotland if it did go independent? Can it stand on its own 2 feet? I mean, we know that they would want to rejoin the EU, but they probably wouldn't reach the economic threshold to be accepted in. I mean, there's lots of challenges for them to go independent.
Yeah, I think it would be very challenging for Scotland. Of course it could stand on its own 2 feet. Of course Scotland is a great country. And, of course, it would manage to be independent. But I think it would face enormous challenges. I think it would be immensely weakened on the international stage. For example, it wants to get rid of nuclear weapons. What's that going to do in a dangerous world? And I think it would be a disaster. We've seen how badly things are going in Northern Ireland, where there's a domestic trade border. Nicola Sturgeon has no answer to what trade between England and Scotland would be like.
So there would have to be a hard border at Carlisle or Gretna Green or something then, would there?
There would have to be some kind of border. She doesn't have the answers.
Alice, let me ask you this. People will say, right, there you are with the answers today, and a lot of people may be looking at the screen and they'll be saying, she doesn't sound Scottish. What's it got to do with her? So, I mean, the one thing that will get up people's noses if they're from Ireland and they're talking about nationalism or unity, and Scotland exactly the same, as people who are not from those countries talking about it. Why would you feel that you've got a say in this, or that anybody outside Scotland would have a say in this?
Well, because we're a United Kingdom, we're all British. And if you want to ask for me personally, my husband's Scottish, I'm English. I feel very strongly that we're a family.
You feel invested in this?
Absolutely, 100%. My daughter's half Scottish. We're all British, we're a family.
But it also would have implications for people in other parts of the British Isles. I mean, you talk about them wanting to go nuclear, but all of our nuclear deterrence and the building of it takes place in Scotland. So what would that mean for us in England if Scotland went independent? That's what I mean. So we all do have a vested position on whether or not they go independent.
You're absolutely right. It's not just a decision for Scotland. This is a decision for the whole of the United Kingdom. And it would be... it affects us all, absolutely.
So if you think there was a vote within the rest of the United Kingdom saying, should Scotland remain part of the United Kingdom, what way do you think that would go?
It's difficult to say. I think there's certainly a strong contingent of English people who think, well, Scotland can
plough their own furrow.
Plough their own furrow, since they keep complaining about it. But no, I think we should all work hard to preserve our union.